Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, I'm about to do a talk for Blu-rays. This is an energy update for those of us who are here for some type of service to humanity. Let me just My leg is cooking from my little heater. So let me finish shuffling these cards and we're going to get started. So this is going to be intense, is the sense that I'm getting. Intense. All right, let's get started. So today we're supposed to be having an eclipse, and my hair is crazy. We're supposed to be having an eclipse, and this is something that greatly affects the energies of everyone, especially if you're sensitive to energy. It is something that can greatly affect you in a positive or a not so positive way. It really just depends on how you're going to allow this to enter into your awareness and be interpreted. All right. Okay. Wow. So, first and foremost, there is instruction from soul. First and foremost, there is an imbalance that's needing to be corrected. And whatever this imbalance is, it's something that has been brewing for some time. Okay. For those of you who don't know what or who the 144,000 are, this has a lot to do with those souls who agreed to incarnate during this time to assist, not to save, not to do any, like, I don't know what people are saying, but it is none of that. Okay. We're here in a space of assistance for each other, meaning here to encourage, here to empower, here to remind each other of our divinity, of maybe some of the things that we're here to allow others to witness us accomplishing. So you're going to need to ground yourself into a space of recognizing and accepting whatever your soul's purpose is. Um, what might your purpose be? What might it be? Does it have to do with maybe a business plan? Does it have to do with maybe um, helping others? Does it have to do with undoing some of that karmic load by reconnecting with those we have unresolved lessons with? These lessons that were began in previous lifetimes and are now being given back to us so that we can finish the interaction and allow ourselves to learn tremendously before we move forward with that, allowing that information that we learn to be reintegrated and applied to our day to day, right? So it's not this role of being, 144,000 messiahs coming here saving everyone. There's no one really that needs to be saved. There are those of us who are here to facilitate an accelerated process for others. We're just facilitators. We're assisting. Okay. So the environment that we're in, it's a hostile environment. It's very, very cold. It's very, very, very cold. And sometimes like emotionally cold, socially cold. Sometimes being in that type of environment causes us to enter into a state of not wanting to release what's needing to be released. So during autumn, the card is autumn in reverse. During autumn, what ends up happening is there's less sun. And because of less sun, the trees, the plants, they can't sustain all of the leaves that they have. There's really no need for all of those leaves. So as the plants begin to go into a dormant state, they then lose their leaves. They're conserving energy. And I think a lot of the message right now is, are you afraid of conserving? Are you afraid of what you will lose if you conserve your energy, if you conserve your resources, if you conserve the parts of you that go out of your way to accommodate the demands of others, the unrealistic, unfair demands of others on you. You have to stand your ground. When I asked what this reading was going to be about the day of the eclipse, I heard 144,000 standing on celestial business. You have to stand your ground, not just against others who are seeking to silence you, who are seeking to shut you down, who are seeking to be such a tremendous opposition to you and your growth that you become discouraged. Like, no, no. Allow whatever it is you're going through to be the very impetus, the very trigger that initiates an acceleration through this period. If you don't, you're going to enter into a state of being a lady, goddess, or feminine in reverse, meaning not realizing you have the power to create, not accepting and responsibly utilizing this elevated ability to co-create the types of connections and circumstance that are necessary for you. It's important. Your existence here is important. And the things that you are supposed to go through in order to really utilize your time here in the most efficient, effective manner, it is a very important process that we are all in. Now, does it matter whether or not you are part of the 144,000? I tell you this. People who are so fixated on having that label, having that official association with the 144,000 that's been prophesied about, um, don't you think that's a little ego based? Don't you think that's kind of rooted in um, a need for a label so that others can agree about a worth that you don't even really agree with? Because for me, I know I'm here to do something profound for the world, not because I am superior or any of that, but because that's what I was designed to do. Do I need any of those labels? No. Do I have some of those labels? Yes. Do I use some of those labels? Um, if there's a need to help explain something for better clarification, maybe. But outside of that, I mean, what does it matter? 144,000 or not, what does it matter? I know I'm here to do something that will help other people. So all I want to do is help. All I want to do is grow so that I could be um, the greatest expression of powerful facilitation possible. I want to be the most powerful expression of my most authentic truth and divine purpose so that I can do whatever it is that I'm supposed to do. Right. And I'm not saying you're a bad person if you still need the labels. I'm saying you're so much more than just a label. Don't focus on the label. Focus on what resonates with you. If something resonates, the message is for you. It doesn't matter if it's been confirmed by someone in some session that you are this or you are that. None of that matters. Do you want to help people? Do you feel that so strongly in your heart that you want to help others? Not in a savior capacity, but just like there's so much suffering in the world. So much unnecessary hardship and suffering, and you want to do your part to lessen that. That's powerful. That is powerful. That is something that can really ignite your sacred flame or reignite it if you feel like it's gone out. Now, union in reverse. There are things that are going to be pushed out of your life, and it's starting now. Okay. These things that are needing to be pushed out of your life, it's beginning now. I don't know what it is. I think it's going to be different for everyone, but there is a cleaning of your spiritual house, of your personal spaces that is occurring. And whatever this cleaning is doing, be careful that you're not inadvertently making a mess thinking you're cleaning. Be careful that you're not creating a circumstance for yourself that's rooted in insecurity. Because, for example, some people might hear what I'm saying and like, okay, I think Emmy's confirming that. Um, Here's an example. I think Emmy is confirming that that means my relationship is supposed to end now. I'm not confirming nothing, boo. I'm not confirming anything. I'm telling you, it's time to begin allowing a process that is helping you become more of who you actually are. Is it time for you to end the relationship? Well, I mean, is everything going wrong? Is there nothing to work on? Is there no reciprocity there? Or is your decision to end that relationship, your consideration of ending it, stemming from your fear of rejection? Are you starting to really bond with that person and so now you're kind of freaked out and now you're like, I should end this because they can hurt me in ways no one else can. And if I end it now, then it's on my terms. You got to figure out where you're rooted. You have to figure out why you're considering the things you're considering. Now, if you're just going to let it kind of play out, I think you'll get the confirmations that you need in order to facilitate whatever's already being facilitated for you, whatever's being pushed forward by soul. It becomes an even more powerful experience if you allow yourself to be fully present with it. And this experience, this clearing, this cleaning of the house, is not necessarily going to destabilize you. I think for those of us who are ready to take that next step, to enter into this space of really just allowing ourselves to be fully present, fully aware, intentionally co-creating situations, right? Where you are like, okay, I want to create this, this, and this. So I'm going to look for a group of people, or I'm going to be open to crossing paths with a group of people who have the capacity to assist me with this in ways that are genuine, ways that are authentic, ways that my soul wants me to experience. You know, the oddest thing happened this morning while I was in the shower. So I was scrubbing the tile with my tile brush, and it was weird. It was super weird because my thoughts went from like, "Ooh, we're scrubbing the tile grout." I was thinking to myself, really jolly and just really trying to make sure that um, none of my conditioner gets washed out of my hair while I'm letting it sit and scrubbing the tile grout. And then I don't know what Michael said to me. He talks to me in the shower. So inappropriate, but he doesn't care. So I don't remember what he said to me, but I just know that my answer, and I wasn't fully paying attention until it came out of my mouth. My answer was like, "Yeah, sure, I'm ready to be discovered." I was like, "Huh? What? What does that even mean?" And he says, "Say it again." And I said, "Well, I'm ready to be discovered." And I was like, "Oh, is that like I'm rediscovering parts of myself?" And then he says to me, "What do you think?" And I was like, "Oh, Lord, are you talking about what I think you're talking about?" And then he says to me, basically, "If I answer you, will you drag your feet again?" No. He goes, "Okay, then you already know what we're talking about. Don't play like you don't know." At which point I had to stop scrubbing the tile because I was just like, okay, we're not going to freak out. We're not going to freak out because soul always gives me the proper time and the proper space to process the next set of instructions. Soul always respects my personal process. It takes me a little bit to fall completely in line with whatever soul is asking me to do. And soul knows this. That's why it gives me quite a bit of advanced notice, right? And so I left that conversation as it is. Like, okay, the next part is about to be the current part. And then there will be another part that I will view as the next part, the new next part. And as you go through your process, just remind yourself your soul always gives you the proper time, space, and consideration to come to terms with whatever it is that you're needing to come to terms with in order for the next part to be loaded and become your present. So, I don't know how any of that's going to play out, but we're going to see. We're going to see. All right. The Shadow Queen, acquiring knowledge, insecurity, and manipulation. Ooh, but it's in reverse. It's in reverse. Okay, so for some of you, I think what might be happening is that someone is trying to acquire knowledge about you. There might be someone who is trying to gather information about you in some way. But you're not insecure about this. This is, yeah, it's not a big deal. I think for some of us, we're not quite there yet. For some of us, we feel like, oh my gosh, we don't want anyone to know this detail or that detail about us. You know, one of the most powerful things that I've done for myself is just really own my life and not be ashamed of any part of it. I just, yeah, when it comes time to talk about some aspect of my life, um, I just talk about it. I've had people telling me, um, that it's like so powerful to witness me talk fondly about a period where I was homeless, like, but it was a good time for me. And that sounds like, oh, she was partying. No, it was so peaceful. I wasn't confined to any type of obligatory anything. I had absolutely no debt. I had absolutely um, nothing but freedom, time, and space to be myself, process life, go wherever I felt like going with my family. And I've had people tell me that, it's been very powerful for them personally to witness me speaking about some of the toxicity that I've had to deal with when it comes to relatives, when it comes to parents, when it comes to narcissistic parents at that. And it's like, that's not my shame to carry. I don't feel ashamed about any of that. Things were done to me and I chose to rise from that. I chose to be different than what the byproduct was expected to be based on what I was immersed in with no say. I had no say in any of that. As a child, you don't have a say. As a soul, you hand selected every event. And that's why I'm not upset about it. I know on some level, yes, I had no say as a child. As a soul, all of those things were hand selected by my soul to cultivate certain characteristics that are preparing me for whatever this next part is. Everything that you've been through is preparing you for what you're about to go through. I don't think it's a bad thing either. You got to stand on that celestial business. You have to own your space. If you do not declare ownership over your space, over your existence, the weak people of the world will come in and try and conquer it. They will try and conquer your space. They will try and create some type of something that will cause you to feel even more disempowered. This morning I woke up at 2 a.m. and I couldn't go back to sleep. I don't know. I woke up fully energized, like, girl, what in the pre workout is going on here? And yeah, so then I hopped on TikTok and I was just watching all kind of different things. And then I thought I was gonna go to sleep and I was like, oh, I still can't sleep. And then I stumbled across this live stream. It was a gal doing her makeup. And there were like six or 700 people in that live stream. And she was lovely. She was lovely. She was standing her ground, but she was also picking and choosing what she would interact with. And there was this individual in the comments who was just grinding my gears so badly. I wanted to say something. She was just totally bashing on all sorts of different things, like complaining, complaining, complaining. Like, girl, can you just not watch her do her makeup? Like, can you just chill? I didn't say anything though. And she was like being confrontational with everyone and trying to turn this gal's live stream into a political platform for herself. And I'm in my head, like 30, 40 minutes have gone by, and this girl's still like blah, 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 blah. And when I say blah, 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 I'm talking about she's expressing publicly and very passionately her hatred for all men. And I'm just like, oh, girl, you are not my problem. I'm just gonna keep watching her do her makeup. I'm waiting for her to do her brows. I want to see how her brows look. She shaved the tail ends of her brows off, and I wanted to see how she styled it. And then finally, I'd had enough because people were kind of like back and forth with this girl. Everyone's telling her to chill out. The girl in the comments, her name is Mary something, Mary, and I was just like, making all us Marys look bad. And then finally, I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't confront her. I just said in the comments, looks like somebody's trying to take over the comments and turn it into their own live stream. And then I put a rolling eye emoji. And then like 5, 10 seconds later, um, a whole bunch of people were like, LOL, she finally got muted. Yep. Thank God. Thank God. And it was this thing of commenting with this gal. Um, I really appreciate being able to watch you just in your element, the level of grace that you have and patience and picking and choosing who you will and will not interact with. That's very lovely. It's quite lovely to watch you in your element. And then she responds to me with if I can be patient and take this long to do my makeup in the morning, I can be patient with all people. And I was like, girl, yes. And then I stopped commenting for a while and I just was watching. And she continued in the same way where she did not allow anyone or anything to shake her from her center space. That's so powerful to see. She had an objective to get her makeup done. And there were people that were commenting some just cockadoodle ass do stuff, like all kind of stuff, telling her what her ethnicity. I'm like, are y'all serious right now? Are you guys serious right now? You're trying to tell her she's lying about her ethnicity? And there were certain things like that where she would address it. Like, no, I told you exactly what I am. Or people telling her to speak a specific language. And she's like, I know how to speak that language, but I'm speaking English because this is a language most people will understand as they come into my live stream. But she wouldn't address everything. So when you look at how you handle your life, how you handle circumstance, are you wasting your time and your energy addressing every little thing? I ended up subscribing to her and I was like, holy crap, you have 1.1 million subs. Okay, well, no wonder you no wonder you know what to interact with and what to not interact with at this point. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Right? If you can stay centered within yourself and choose for yourself what you will or will not interact with, what you will expend energy on, and what you will conserve energy from, um, it becomes a really powerful thing. Because, see, rather than wasting all of her energy, she ended up using that to manifest a considerable reach. Now, that 1.1 million, that is a considerable reach. That's something to be proud of. You go, girl. That's a considerable reach. Good job. Absolutely good job. Assistance control, but it's in reverse. So you have to stop trying to control the entire situation. You don't let someone else control you, but your soul is already in control of what's happening. It's already deciding various factors that you need to experience. So let yourself experience it. Do not allow someone else to try and dominate you. Do not, do not, do not, do not allow someone to get comfortable being disrespectful or attempting to be dominant. Do not, because that's going to be a major issue that you're going to have to deal with later on. The longer you allow that to continue, the more pronounced and protracted the corrective process will become. So, communication, praise, dishonesty. I think for some of you, as part of your task of standing on celestial business, you're going to have to call some dishonest people out. You're going to have to call some dishonest people out, and it's just going to have to it's just going to have to be. Communication, praise, dishonesty. I think for others of you, part of what's happening is that there is someone who maybe looks up to you tremendously, who truly values very, very deeply your opinions, your perception. And I think they're needing a little bit of input from you. I don't know that they would ask you for it, but it feels like they're needing it. And this is part of your pre-planned interactions. They need a little bit of encouragement from you. I don't know who I'm talking to or who I'm talking about in your life, but I think that if the message is for you, you'll just know, like, oh, you know what? I need to reach out to so and so. I've been thinking about them. I think that message is for me. It probably is. It probably is. Okay. Flow, letting go, natural movement. This is what your soul wants. The River Queen. Flow, letting go, natural movement. Stop clinging to things that life is trying to cleanse from your space, right? Don't cling to any of it. Optimism and aggression. You're going to have to discern. So, for many of us in our community, we are being greatly pushed forward by soul. Things are being allowed to happen for us, with us, to us, and there's a high likelihood you might draw to you people who want to be a part of that process for some reason. They might see the process you're in and think, oh, I can benefit from this. Be careful with that. Okay. Those are people who might begin to get aggressive as they try and force their way into your life. No, no. Do not allow any of that. No, 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 no. The moment someone starts to get aggressive in their attempt to insert themselves into your life, into your trusted spaces, you need to nip that in the bud immediately. Immediately. I cannot emphasize that enough. You need to nip that in the bud. Okay. The Wise Woman of Wonderland, integrity and compromise. That's a message right there. All right. So this is telling me that there is someone who lacks integrity and will not compromise, and they are the one that's getting aggressive in their attempt to be part of your life, part of your journey. They want something. They want something. Something feels off here. Hold on. Let me pull some clarifiers. Something feels very off there. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I'm so effing cold down to the bone suddenly. For some of you who have an elevated purpose, please hear what I'm about to say. You're being recalibrated during this period. This recalibration that's taking place is so that you can reach higher octaves of frequency. This is so that you can actually charge enough energy in your auric field to be able to bust through a membrane that's kept you limited in your perception, in your existence, in your purpose, in your life. Whoever this is, they are an agent of darkness. I get so sick of these kind of people. Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. This is someone that's serving as a Trojan. They're serving as a demon Horita. They are an organic portal. A lot of organic portals, all of them are being activated, meaning it's going to take much less for parasitic things to jump into these type of people. They are still human beings. They still deserve to exist with dignity. And if you can nip it in the bud before they get out of control, then it gets halted right then and there. If you're going to allow it, they are going to get very comfy. Because look, courageousness in reverse. They're afraid of you. They're afraid of you. They're afraid of what you can accomplish. And so what they're going to do is they're going to try and they're going to try and undermine your perception of yourself. They're going to start with compliments just to get into your trusted space. And once they're in, maybe that's a human aspect of them, right? Once they're in, you're going to start to see the changes happening. You're going to start to see that, oh, are they mad at me? Are they upset that I'm doing this project? Are like, what's happening here? It's not going to make sense, right? Think in terms of like very covert attempts to gaslight you. For example, you guys are about to go head out to lunch, just a casual friend lunch, and they're at your place. And you're getting dressed, and you ask them how the outfit looks, and they're like, "Oh, you look good." And then as soon as you're out the door, and now you don't have time to change your outfit, they'll say something along the lines of, "Why'd you decide to wear that? That's like the oddest thing to pick to wear." And now you're feeling some type of way the whole time you're out with them. Now you feel embarrassed. You feel very self conscious. And all of your energy is being utilized on trying to mitigate the emotions that are rising up. It's one of those things. It's one of those things. You got to make sure you nip that in the bud. You got to make sure that you don't allow yourself to continue to be in that type of space. This is an individual who has a delusion of control. They think they can control you. They're trying to establish that. They're trying to establish some degree of dominance over you so that they can control you. They recognize how powerful you are. You have to stand on celestial business. You have to find it within yourself to be like, listen, motherfucker. Listen, you're not going to talk to me like that. You're not going to play these games with me like that. I don't think so. I don't think so. And it's not necessarily that, what if? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. It's this thing of recognizing that for some of us, we're already making excuses. But I mean, what if they just What if they didn't want to hurt our feelings? That's why they couldn't tell us that our outfit looked crazy before we left. If they didn't want to hurt your feelings, why say anything after the fact when you couldn't change anything about it? Hmm? Why say anything then? Boo. Just because you have this beautiful heart that doesn't want to hurt anyone, a beautiful, genuine heart that wants goodness and happiness for everyone, and you would never do any of that to anyone, does not mean there are not people in this world who do not have a heart like yours, who have a heart that is the opposite of yours. I used to cry a lot about, like, I don't understand. I don't understand. Why? Like, what did I do? Why? And I tried to understand for such a long time. I must have done something. I must have done something to make them like that. They were so nice. I did something because I don't read social cues very well. It must be me. I must be the problem. The only problem there is that I exist. For some people, that's enough of a problem. I did nothing to deserve any of that. And I can hold myself accountable. I know when I'm being a total biznatch. I absolutely can hold myself accountable to that. I'm not in denial. I'm not. I could have an attitude like you wouldn't believe could come out my little ass body. Uh-huh. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. But I also know I didn't do anything. And it took me many years to understand just because I could never bring myself to do that, even to a person I don't like, doesn't mean people who claim to love me can't do that to me with zero provocation. Zero provocation. That's just how some people are. Your life and your soul, they're trying to clean this out of your space. Do not hold on to those connections. Do not hold on to those relationships. They are excess baggage. There's no space for them where you're going. They cannot follow you where you are destined to be. You need to learn to nurture them from afar with your absence. What was the most painful thing for me to learn in those circumstances? Because there were multiple rounds of it. I didn't learn the first time or the second time or the third. By the fourth time, I was like, fuck these bitches. I'm sick and tired of people. I don't need people. Yeah, no, I do. I do. But not just any people. I need my people. I need the people who agreed to be a part of my life and my journey before any of us incarnated into this life. I need those people. Took me a very long time to learn just because I would never do that to someone. Doesn't mean there aren't people who are more than willing to do it to me. Just because they know I won't do anything about it. Just because they know that, I'm going to be like, it is what it is, whatever. I recognize the ways in which I allowed it. And I'm just not going to do that anymore. I'm going to carry forward. And, these days, part of standing on celestial business means absolutely holding people accountable for the consequences they cultivated. Yep. Absolutely holding people accountable for the situations they created. You want to fuck around, you're going to find out. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am obligated to help people learn how to be the best expression of themselves they can be. For some people, it is through encouragement, it is through grace, it is through holding you up because you can't stand right now. For other people, it has to do with matching your energy and making sure you get the consequence you work so fucking hard to get out of me. Because really, it takes a lot to get me to that point. And by the time I'm there, I'm fully convinced that's exactly why your soul brought you across my path. Because everyone you've come across that since you were born, let me just put a little chapstick on my lips because I'm about to spit some motherfucking truth. I don't want my chips to be I don't want my lips to be chapped. There are people who have never had anyone care enough or be strong enough to face them directly and hold them accountable for their caca. And now I'm of the mindset. If you're one of those people and your soul has you cross my path, and then your soul tells you, like, not this one, don't do it to this one. And you're like, no, I'm going to do it to this one. Yeah. Well, then, Odin has gifted us a willing sacrifice. I will sacrifice your ego on the altar of celestial business. I was looking at my chart earlier. What is it? What is it? Let me see. Where is it? There was something that I saw. I totally was like, what? Oh, this biznatch. It cleared it again. It was I forget. I don't remember, but it had Aries, not Aries, Aquarius. I forget which part. And I was like, yep, that's how you know. Because I don't know if you guys know Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius cusp, first and foremost. So that's already wafting through my veins on a daily basis. One of my BFFs is an Aquarius. One of my kids is an Aquarius. I know a couple other Aquarians. That's not one you want to fuck with. Because their capacity to eviscerate you verbally, it's unmatched. It is unmatched. It is unmatched. I have the capacity to do that too, if need be. If need be. So it's this thing of allowing yourself to recognize your strengths. You have to recognize your strengths, the ways in which the planets aligned to specifically imbue within you certain characteristics that are innate with that specific planetary alignment, so that you can be a badass. You just need to be yourself at this point. I used to feel badly about having to stick up for myself, so I wouldn't say anything. And as a matter of fact, there have been many times where the people who are in the live stream with me are offended on my behalf, and they're starting to argue with a certain person. And I'm telling them, like, you guys, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Oh, but it is a big deal. It's a big deal when the people who genuinely love you are offended on your behalf. You need to take that as a sign that you're not being treated or addressed properly, and that needs to be stopped. It needs to be corrected. You need to stand on your celestial business, the Metal King, discipline, armor, and boundaries. It's time for you to have enough discipline that you enforce those boundaries. It's not enough to wear armor if all you're going to do is run. Why wear armor if every single thing that happens in your life, you run from it. It means you're afraid of something. Well, you know what I realized? People who run from confrontation, and this is going to be like mind-boggling, okay? Those who run from confrontation so consistently tend to be the ones you really don't want to piss off, because by the time they're going to be combative right back, oh, boo. Uh-uh. I've shared this before. My husband has a friend. He's had this friend since um early 20s, like longtime friend. And you never see this guy mad. You just never see him mad. He's awesome. He's always like, you could say the rudest stuff to him and be straight up combative and confrontational. And he'll just like, he'll make it into a joke and make you feel comfortable. It's like, oh, it's no big deal. Oh, you're funny. He's awesome. And then one day I actually saw him mad, and people don't really make me afraid. It's not very often that I get really like, oh shit. Oh, the one day I saw him angry, I was like, "Oh, shit. Like, someone better calm him down. He's gonna do something, like, really bad." Which he did. He didn't hurt anyone, but he broke a window, and he wasn't trying to break the window. He was just really pissed off. He felt very disrespected about something, and, he was knocking on the neighbor's door, and no one was answering, and so he began knocking on the window hard, and he shattered the window. He cut his hand. Um, I've never seen him that mad before. I have never seen him that mad after. And it was everyone was kind of like, "Whoa." Was also, I mean, we're in our early 20s. Everyone was just high out their mind. And I was the only one that was sober, and I was like, "Oh my god, someone has to calm him down. He's going to do something crazy." And everyone was they weren't tripping because they've never seen him like that, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I was just like, bad things are about to happen. And then something bad happened. Um, I don't think you're running away because you're afraid. I think you're convincing yourself that you're non-confrontational because you're afraid, because you're intimidated. I don't think it's that. I think what you're afraid of is allowing the part of you that's willing to stand up for yourself to be witnessed, because at some point in your life, probably in childhood, um, an adult couldn't handle you and the intensity of your sovereignty. And so they convinced you that you're too much, that that part of you is not okay. I know I was convinced of that. Yeah. Mhm. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Because I was totally, even as a child, once you get me to that point, you're not going to stop it then. You really shouldn't start with me. Right. Everyone who knows me knows that. From my personal life, don't start with me. You talk your caca. Don't involve me though. Talk your caca when I'm not there. I won't do anything about it. You get confrontational with me, it's on. It's on. And I will not stop. Right? Um, let's see. Oh wow. If I tried to speak up for myself as a child, my mom would not talk to me for days. Wow. That's hard. That's such a painful punishment. That's not even discipline. That's just flat out punishment. Discipline's origins, etymological. The origins of discipline is to teach, not to punish, right? It is not to punish, it is to teach. And you need to allow yourself to learn whatever it is that needs to be learned from those points. Um, That's hard. That's really, really hard. And blissful, I hope you're seeing how, there are quite a few people who have a very similar experience. Um, the comment of my first bully was my mother. God, that's painful. That's very, very painful. Very, very, very painful. See what happens when you share parts of your journey, and it doesn't have to be everything, right? When you share parts of your journey, um, and other people who have not gotten as far as you've gotten in processing that journey, um, when they see that, they start to feel like, oh, it wasn't that I wasn't loved. It's just that some people become parents and haven't healed themselves. Most of our parents didn't get an opportunity to heal themselves, right? I'm not making excuses for their behavior. I'm helping you to hopefully understand why you no longer have to take it personally. Because you don't. You did not injure them in your existence. It's not to heal them. And these conversations that you're waiting to have, conversations where you are expecting them to acknowledge how they have harmed you because of their own wounded state, waiting for them to apologize. I don't know that they ever will. I don't know that they're capable. Do you need that apology? I think what you need to know is that everything you've gone through has cultivated the most powerful parts of you, right? And it's just a matter of allowing those powerful parts to step forward. I used to get that too, that if I spoke up for myself, um, I would be labeled the bitch. Even as a child, I would be labeled the bitch. And it would be this whole big deal. And no one would take into consideration what drove me to become reactive. All that everyone ever focused on was how I became reactive, right? And so I learned to just avoid, to stay quiet. I learned that the most powerful parts of me are not acceptable by society. And now I'm seeing a reason for gratitude, to have gratitude for that, what I just shared. And you guys are probably like, "Oh my gosh, how could you be grateful for that?" Well, because it also taught me from an early age how to temper that. I mean, could you imagine? I got a mouth on me like you wouldn't believe. I got levels of confrontational aggression that you wouldn't believe. And if I didn't have that opposing polarity, that experience of being told I'm not allowed to act like that, I think I would be out of control as an adult. Actually, I'm fairly certain I would be. And I shared years ago how I was never complimented growing up. Like I was never told I was pretty. Like my aunts and family relatives and things like that, they would say those things to me. But I would just, my mom was very quick to efface. Um, and it was just this thing of like, I'm grateful. And people like, "Oh my God, no one ever told you you were like a good girl and that you were pretty and you were smart." No, I didn't get compliments like that. It was always very like hypercritical, which of course created a different set of things that I'm still working through. But because I never received that type of validation, I don't seek it like at all. You don't like me? I don't give a fuck. I don't. Get in line. A lot of people don't like me. For what reason? I don't fucking know. I stay in my own lane. I don't know. They're offended by me for whatever reason, and that's fine. Let them feel whatever they feel. Oh, Emmy, you have to do this, this, and this so that I will like you. No, the fuck I don't. No, I don't. I mean, feel whatever you feel. You don't like me? Okay, go away. There's other people in this world who will accommodate you. I'm not going to accommodate that. But you don't want people to like you? No, I'm saying I respect that you don't like me. I'm not going to try and convince you otherwise. Have you observed me long enough to make a very sound judgment based on my actual character? Like me as a person? No? Okay. Well, be gone. It's no big deal. How could you be like that? Well, because I know what I'm offering. And I'm offering it for free. I'm offering it freely. And if you need me to offer that freely, something that can help you change your entire life, like your entire life, and you want me to play a character, I mean, I don't know about all that. You go ahead and you go. You feel what you feel. You're the one that's going to miss out. I'm not tripping. I'm not. I'm not tripping. You know, it's important for you to begin embracing the parts of you that were custom selected by creator to be your most formidable parts, the parts that will not allow you to fail, right? Survival, false promises, but it's in reverse. You're entering into a space of thriving. In order for you to actually begin to thrive, you have to stop identifying as the perpetual victim, right? So I shared recently that for about a year and a half, almost 2 years, I had been identifying as injured, as having been victimized by my spine. Yeah. Um, and that's the thing. Yeah, I got injured, but it healed. And I've been doing everything I can to continue regaining the strength that was lost. And I kept crippling myself by continuing to identify as having been injured when I'm no longer injured. I haven't been for quite some time. And the moment I release that, well, I'm experiencing tremendous development, muscle development in my entire posterior chain. I gave myself permission to finally move forward from it. And sometimes that's all you need, to just give yourself permission to move forward from it. And when I tell you that if people can't be reasonable in their expectations of you, if they can't respect your autonomy, well, it's their loss. There was an individual, I just saw this. I'm cracking up. There was an individual who had gotten a session months back. And my schedule is crazy. There's a lot of people waiting for their session, right? And I'm fully believing at this point, like wholeheartedly believing that your session, I know it's hard to wait. I completely get that. But your session is scheduled at the most perfect time for your journey. The most perfect time. It's very rare for me to reschedule someone because something's happening. Like it needs to be an actual emergency. I won't reschedule with people. Like just, I feel like taking the day off. Let me reschedule you. No, that doesn't happen because you wait so long. Like, no, some really messed up stuff has to be going on in my personal life to prevent me from being present. So going back to this person, they were just absolutely having a conniption fit in the email and just talking so much shit about me in the email. Like, okay, well, that's abusive. I'm not going to do your session. No, refund. Fuck out of here. You're not going to accuse me of shit to try and coerce me into making exceptions for you when there are how many people who have waited patiently. And the funny thing is, they wanted an earlier appointment. They want an earlier appointment. How fucking dumb. The appointment that you would have had today during the eclipse day, it would have fucking cleared your whole circumstance. It's not a loss to me. And another person took the session. That slot is given to someone else. Everything that happens, you guys, it's for your benefit. It is for your benefit. Your life is so perfectly timed, so perfectly aligned, and it might not make sense. It might not make sense. It might cause frustration. I get it. I have had so many people tell me, like, man, I was hoping I was going to be able to get a session with you within a week. And then I had to wait like 2-3 months. But you know what? Oh my God. I thought my session was going to be about this thing. That's nonsensical stuff. You know what's happened since then? Like, Emmy, I need you to help me figure out this, and this. And I'm like, that's why you had to wait. Now the session is even more potent. It's perfect. It's perfect. Don't be scared of what gets taken away. Don't. Those are things that were misaligned. You know, during a period of eclipse, for those of you who are very fascinated by energetic stuff, parasitic stuff, during a period of eclipse, if you are exposed to someone who is highly parasitic and there is an exchange of energy during that time, that's going to be slipstream straight into your core code. Once upon a time, lunar events and solar events were utilized by the highest of the highs to take in celestial code. The parasitic things that would try and observe, they would try and corrupt the coding. They couldn't do it during the time of eclipse because the pathways are encrypted. It's invisible. It's cloaked. It's a long time ago. It's a long time ago. These days, there's a lot of energetic exchange that happens during eclipse days. You guys need to be very mindful of what you allow into your space, right? Right. Whenever you have a future session scheduled with me, it always happens at an opportune time. I get more excited for the future of my life when I book and see the date. Yeah. I mean, you know, and don't get me wrong, I completely understand, you know. It's like you have something that is pressing and you want to be helped ASAP. That's a very normal, very, very normal desire. But just know everything is so perfectly aligned. It is so, so perfectly aligned. And honestly, using that example of the session that was canceled, and if I have no shame saying this, if you're going to be abusive towards me or any part of my team, you will get fucking banned. I will not accept any sessions from you ever in perpetuity. I don't give a shit what is going on. If you are intentionally maltreating anyone in my team, you will get banned. No exceptions. None. I don't care if you're extra nice to me. No. My team is an extension of me. They exist to protect me, insulate me. No, I don't take none of that. But I think sometimes we also have to see that it's not just, your loss. I would have had that session today. And then I probably would have gotten breached. And then I would have still had to do expedites, not knowing that I'm breached. Soul works in amazing ways. Soul absolutely works in amazing ways. What you might perceive as a lost opportunity Is it? Or is it your soul protecting you during a moment of unrecognized vulnerability? When that was scheduled, I had no idea that today was a eclipse day. That's why I have people in my schedule. I actually have to get going. That's why I have people in my schedule. We didn't know. I don't pay attention to these things, you guys. I told you I don't track planets. I don't track lunar, solar stuff. I just whenever soul tells me, then I'll know. Yeah. So people who have sessions today, it's gonna be a powerful day. Let me see. Let me see. I'm excited. Yep. I'm excited. Okay, let's see. Yep. I knew it. There's a trap trying to be set. It has to do with an upside down cycle that is trying to prevent you from purging all of this dark density out of your space. No, let it get purged. Let it be like a boil and you play Dr. Pimple Popper. Let it clear out. Okay, so you're going to get clarity. Oh, ooh, you're about to get clarity. Clarifier and receiving. Allow yourself to receive the clarification that's necessary. Okay. Really allow yourself to receive the clarification that is necessary because what's about to happen next is an attempt to get you to sabotage your own journey. Oh no. Said a no, 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 no. I tell you no, 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 no. Then I say no, 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 no. And I say hell fucking no. Don't let it happen. Okay. Complete surrender. Do not surrender to that attempt to trigger you back into old cycles, upside down cycles that cause you to sabotage your own progression. Instead, embrace this period of transition. Really embrace the changes that are coming. I'm going to forget. So Lindsay's been trying to remind. Thank you, Lindsay. But I've been trying to stay focused and do this fast. I'm going to be going live later today, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. See how in sync we are? I didn't even see you commented. I'm going to go live today, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's going to be really powerful expedites available. I have the family shielding. For those of you whose families have been very much being accessed by dark attempts, you might want to consider that. It's for the whole family. It's not just for you. The whole family. I think up to 4 people. I don't remember. The whole family. Boo. The whole family. It don't matter how many people are in your family. The whole family. So go check that out, okay? Balanced relationships. You have to allow yourself to balance your relationships. It can't just be you giving, 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 you being patient, you understanding, and them not reciprocating, you know? You need to just really let things, you need to really just let things kind of fizzle out and be pushed out, okay? Lemurian era. See, for a lot of people, who have heard about Lemuria, what you've heard is Lemuria was kind of like a utopia, very, very peaceful. Here's the thing, because I was filtered through Lemuria as well. Very prominent lifetime in Lemuria. The thing is this. Lemuria had the luxury of being a utopia because they were capable of extreme destruction. And that's why they were able to maintain the peace, right? Lemurian era. Give the part of you that's capable of defending you to the degree that you need permission to do what it's going to do. You need to allow the change to occur. You need to allow yourself to get to a space where your belief system that's upside down, the belief system that tells you you don't have permission to use your voice powerfully, You don't have a right to be autonomous. No, let that be what's changed. Return to a space of integrity. And part of being full of integrity is understanding and honoring your personal needs. Okay. Being a doormat. Some of us will refer to it as being a doormat. Um, I refer to it as being accommodating. Being excessively accommodating is not being full of integrity, because oftentimes in order to be excessively accommodating, you have to compromise yourself. And yeah, you might do these little favors for everyone so that everyone's happy and comfortable. Let's be honest. Some of those times you're talking absolute shit in your head quietly. You're angry at them. You feel used. You're being very accusatory towards the people who you are choosing to accommodate. Let's be honest. It's okay to be honest and admit those things to yourself. Who wouldn't feel that way? Who wouldn't feel angry and have not so nice words quietly brewing in your thoughts about the people who you feel are taking advantage of you? But are they taking advantage? Or is this something you initiated because a part of you felt like if you are needed, then you cannot be rejected and thrown away? That was something I had to come to terms with. That I have no right being angry at the people who I invited into my space because they had the capacity to be bottomless pits and consistently want and need and want and need. And then that gave me the opportunity to create a dependency on me. And when I did that, part of me felt like, okay, you can't reject me now. That's emotionally manipulative. There's no victim there. We all co-created the circumstance together. That doesn't mean I don't have a right to feel the way I felt, but it has to be balanced with the reality of what I chose. There was no victim there. I volunteered. I insisted. I kept on insisting. I kept on overgiving. They're not off the hook either, because a truly loving person will be like, hey, you don't got to do all of that. Like, just relax, chill, lay down, lay down. We got this. Don't worry about it. Right? Just don't worry about it. Just lay down, rest. Right? So they're not off the hook either. But you have to see things from a space of clarity. You needed to go through certain things so that you can have this clarity, so that you can understand what it is that you are learning. Right? Calling our parts home, but it's in reverse. I think for some of us, what's being called home to us is not a part of you. I think there are certain things, maybe certain people who are trying to come forward and present it as though you called them home to you. You are their home. They belong in your life. Oh, no. Use your discernment. Allow yourself to be very honest about someone's proper place in your life. Because I think that for some people, their proper place is nowhere near you. Mm-hmm. I think that for some people, their proper place is nowhere near you. Okay. Card number 95, way showing. Your soul is showing you the way. It's showing you how you are going to get to the next part. It's giving you these little tidbits, little pieces, um, little pieces that need to just be picked up, right? I think, okay, so here's a really good analogy. My family has me started on Pokemon Go. It's fun. And so yesterday we went Pokemon hunting as I was dealing with some energetic stuff that It was intense. And we went Pokemon hunting to kind of take my mind off some stuff. And I did not know that when you see a specific type of icon, you have to tap on it and then you spin it and you load up on gifts. You load up on all sorts of different things like Pokeballs and all kind of different things. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I was missing out on so many assets that I could have collected simply because I did not have the knowledge. And it took one of my younger children telling me, like, Mommy, you need to collect these things. And I'm like, I didn't know. Oh my God. I could have had more. I didn't know. I think there are assets that your soul is trying to return back to you. Maybe those assets are connections with other people. Maybe those assets are connections with parts of you that have the capacity to do what you need. What do you need? What is it that you need? Do you know? Because if you don't know and what you need is right in front of you, how are you going to know to accept what you need, to gather what you need? You won't. You won't. So now your soul is telling you what you need. You need to acknowledge your primal fear. During this period, a period where you're being tasked to stand on celestial business, you need to acknowledge what is making you the most afraid, because those are going to be your points of exploitation. I am very well versed in all things parasitic. During periods such as now, your points of exploitation will absolutely be utilized by parasitic things to gain access. That's up to you if you allow it. Card number 63, seeking karmic balance, but it's in reverse. They don't want you to discharge any more karma because you become lighter. As you become lighter, you're able to reach higher levels of dimensional awareness. As you reach higher levels of dimensional awareness, the effects, the detrimental effects of molecular compaction lessen. There is less likelihood, less opportunity to make you physically ill, to make you mentally ill, energetically ill. Rewatch this part, replay this several times. You need to allow for this process to occur. Blind enthusiasm. Do not have blind enthusiasm. You need to allow yourself to really see what's happening. I don't know what's happening. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I suddenly get this reverberation in my chest. I suddenly get this sense of many of us are being pushed towards a space of change that is so powerful. Your entire life is about to change in the most amazing of ways, and you're not sure if you want it. Can you just allow yourself to receive it and then decide later? Can you allow yourself to maybe enter into the process and then decide in a little bit after you get more familiarized with what soul is giving you? Because I think for some of us, it's going to be something adversarial because you don't want to listen. I'm calling you out. I'm that big cousin that calls you out because you up to some fuck shit. You don't want to listen to what your soul is telling you. You don't want to accept it. Okay, well, that's what's going to happen. It's not too late. It's not too late. If the event hasn't been initiated, you could still get out of it. You could still get out of it. You just have to learn whatever that event's going to teach you. You have to be open to learning in a different way. And then for some of us, it's going to be a thing of like, you've chosen the hardest way possible for so long. That's me. That you're actually very well and overly qualified for the lesson that's being slated. So soul is just like, can we just give it to you? Can you, we're going to deliver it. Can you just sign for it and bring it in the house, please? You don't even got to pay. Like you've already earned this many times over. Can you just stop making it harder for yourself and just like receive this, please? Please. It's a very polarized thing, this space of like, you don't wanna, you don't wanna, you don't wanna, and then this other space of you don't wanna, you don't wanna, you don't wanna, and it's like you don't wanna learn, you don't wanna stop learning. Okay, now soul is like, listen, if you don't sit your ass somewhere, right? Soul is getting to that space. It's not too late. If you're someone who has avoided all the lessons tremendously, listen, just choose to be fully present right now. It's not too late. Now, once the events have started, it's absolutely too late. You're going to go through that whole thing. If you don't want to go through that whole thing, I'm telling you this because this is what I learned. This is how I avoided a lot of bullshit. As long as the event has not been fully initiated, you can still choose a different option of learning it. That's all you got to do. Be like, okay, soul, I'm ready to learn. What do you want me to learn? Please be very clear with me because I struggle with listening. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Sometimes soul just has to understand that I just don't want to cooperate. You'll get through this. And if you do still have to go through the event because you waited too long, be fully present and learn as much as you possibly can. It's still not a loss. You're not being punished. You're not being punished. You're just, you're not. Sometimes we're hard-headed. I'm hard-headed too. I always end up choosing the worst case scenario possible to learn something. And I'm not upset about it. When you choose the hardest way to learn something, the hardest option, you're actually choosing to elevate and expand the potentiality you're working to achieve. You're working to earn, right? You're learning more. So at the end, you're still the one benefiting. All of these hardships that I've faced, I've learned so much over the years. So much. There's really nothing for me to be angry about. There's nothing for me to hold a grudge about, which I don't. That doesn't mean that the people who've been hurtful and harmful in the past or have been complicit in someone else being intentionally malignant and destructive towards me, that doesn't mean I don't see who you are. You will never be allowed in my life again. But Emmy, you said you don't hold a grudge. Right, but I'm not dumb. Why would I allow you in my life? You already showed me the truth of who you are. It's not compatible with who I am. So you live a good life just away from me. You live a good life. Be happy, achieve things, learn whatever you need to learn. You could do all of that in my absence. So go do all of that in my absence. I'm not angry. I'm not any of that. It's just when people show you that they're capable of turning on you because of the benefit to them, well, you believe them, accept it, and make decisions accordingly. I don't believe in retaliation. I don't believe in punishing someone. I believe in moving forward and living the best life I'm capable of co-creating for myself, my family, and my community. And that's all I plan to use my energy on. I don't want anything outside of that. Nothing. So guys, let yourself be who you are. This is an amazing period. I gotta go. Session starting. Quick reminder, I will be going live for the lunar eclipse lunar dragon tea party. This is going to be extra potent. 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. See me there. I'll see you guys again very soon, okay? Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. If you cannot join me later today for the lunar eclipse, please know I'm going to be doing some energy work for everyone at the very beginning. It's not anything advanced, but hopefully it will help to filter out some of the interference. Hopefully. You got to make sure you learn how to maintain your space. Okay. Let me remind you guys of this too. I added another date for the morphogenetic fundamentals workshop. I almost forgot to mention this. This is where I'm going to teach you how to maintain your space, your energy, your auric field. This is important because these events, they're not going to stop. They're going to continue to escalate from this point forward. And you are the only one responsible for yourself. Empower yourself. Get to learning. And I'll see you guys later. 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today. Come back here and we're going to have a Lunar Dragon tea